Inside a quiet herbarium, pressed blossoms rested between oversized pages, their fragile colors still whispering softly after countless seasons. Tiny handwritten labels stayed beside every stem, never trying to explain beauty, only preserving what refused to disappear. Standing there, I wondered if hearts work the very same way, keeping certain feelings long after everything else has drifted onward. Some thoughts return without invitation, some names refuse to fade. Perhaps they aren't interruptions, perhaps they're gentle signals waiting to be understood. If it stays inside you, maybe there's a reason. Every quiet feeling lies beyond a season. Don't keep turning sideways from what won't let go. Some truths only blossom when they're finally known. If it stays inside you, let your heart receive it. Every silent whisper doesn't need explaining. What keeps coming back may already know exactly where it's meant to grow. A single pressed fern curved gently across pale paper, its shape unchanged, yet how even more beautiful, because it had endured. Not everything lasting needs to speak loudly. Some things remain with remarkable patience, a passing conversation, an unfinished smile, quiet kindness, a promise never fully forgotten. The longer I listen, the more I realize certain memories never asked to become burdens. They simply wish to be acknowledged. Maybe we spend too much energy trying to silence what keeps returning. Not every lingering thought is meant to trap us. Some arrive again only because they still have something true to teach. The heart remembers differently than the mind, and sometimes the heart is right. If it stays inside you, let it have a meaning. Every quiet heartbeat carries gentle dreaming. Nothing worth believing needs a loud display. Some lights choose a softer way. If it stays inside you, don't deny the feeling. Every honest moment quietly is healing. What remains with kindness through the passing years may come the answer you've held near. If it stays inside you, hold it without fear. Some of life's most precious things are the ones that never disappear. Inside a forgotten textile archive, fold after fold of woven patterns rested beneath soft linen covers. Every thread held a different shape, tiny imperfections running beside careful stitches. Nothing reached for attention, yet one familiar texture paused my wandering hands. Some feelings, it seems, can recognize themselves before the mind ever does. Here it comes again, gently uninvited. Every quiet heartbeat leaves another sign here. What keeps circling back must be telling truth. Maybe I've been running from the proof. Here it comes again, soft without a warning, like the first warm color finding early morning. Every silent answer waited patiently till my heart could finally see. I tried giving it different names, coincidence, habit, passing curiosity. None of them fit, because each attempt to place it aside only made it find another doorway. A familiar melody in a crowded room, a certain fragrance carried by the wind, an ordinary conversation ending with unexpected silence. Every little moment pulled the same invisible string. Eventually I stopped asking why now and started asking, what if this feeling never wanted to disappear? Here it comes again, never asking loudly, still it finds the spaces waiting deep inside me. Every little reminder knows exactly where to awaken something still held there. Here it comes again, nothing needs explaining. Every hidden heartbeat slowly rearranging. Maybe what remains after all this time was always meant to still be mine. Maybe the hardest feelings to ignore aren't the loud ones, they're the quiet ones that keep returning without demanding attention, again and again, until you stop resisting and simply admit, yes, this mattered more than I wanted to believe. Here it comes again, brighter than I knew it. Every gentle heartbeat finally walks me through it. What refused to leave never lost its place. It was simply waiting for this day. Here it comes again, now I won't deny it. Every honest feeling carries its own light. If a thought keeps finding every road I roam, maybe it has always been my home. Here it comes again, clear as open skies. Some truths don't grow weaker, they just learn the perfect way to arrive. Observatory dome turned with a quiet mechanical sigh, lining up its weathered lens with a sky nobody could touch. Rows of brass dials caught tiny reflections, each adjustment changing the view by fraction. Yet suddenly a hidden constant time. How many moments have I brushed aside, calling them ordinary accidents, when they quietly returned with exactly the same feeling. Maybe this is calling louder than I noticed. Every gentle heartbeat leaves another trace here. What keeps finding me knows another way, leading through the silence every day. Maybe this is calling, not by chance alone now. Every quiet answer starts to slowly show now. If it won't let go, maybe I should see something deep inside believes in me. You know, I spent a long while thinking repetition meant coincidence. The same idea, the same place, the same feeling showing up when I least expected it. I kept saying, it's nothing, it's just random. But how many times does something have to return before you stop calling it random? Maybe the question was never, why does it keep appearing? Maybe it was, why do I keep pretending I don't hear it? Some directions don't arrive with flashing lights. They gather quietly, piece by piece, until your heart recognizes them long before your thoughts can explain why. Perhaps certainty isn't found, it's remembered. Maybe this is calling clearer than before now. Every hidden heartbeat opens every door now. Every quiet pattern starts to make its shape. Nothing real was ever meant to fade. Maybe this is calling, I'll no longer hide it. Every honest feeling has a place inside me. If one gentle whisper finds me yet again, I'll walk beside it without hesitation, without pretending, with an open heart, and finally understand.
An antique globe turns slowly inside a forgotten mapmaker's studio. Its faded continents carried pencil marks, tiny circles, careful arrows, and handwritten notes that no one else would ever understand. A narrow beam fell through dusty glass, touching one small coastline before drifting away. Nothing in the room asked to be remembered, yet everything refused to feel finished. Some things never leave, even when they're quiet. Every hidden heartbeat still can reignite it, not because they linger, only out of fear. Maybe they still matter, being here. Some things never leave. has something true waiting to be noticed, coming through. Nearby, a cabinet held dozens of tiny brass compasses. Most had stopped moving, one remained alive, its needle making patient little circles, never settling for the easiest direction. Watching it, I wondered how many decisions continue traveling long after the footsteps end. Perhaps every path leaves a quiet outline, not to trap us, not to judge us, simply to remind us who we became while choosing it. And somehow that thought felt surprisingly gentle. Some things never leave, not because they're heavy. Every lasting heartbeat simply keeps them steady. What remains within us doesn't ask to stay. It becomes a part of every day. Some things never leave, like a steady current. Every little answer slowly feels more certain. Nothing needs erasing, nothing needs disguise. Even old reflections can grow wise. Maybe the strongest feelings aren't the loudest. Maybe they are the quiet companions that continue walking beside us, changing shape without disappearing. Some choices become stories, some emotions become guidance, and some pieces of who we were never ask us to return, only to smile, to understand, and to keep moving with them, still resting inside our hearts.
Rows of tiny metronomes lined a forgotten repair bench. One stubborn pendulum refused to stop swinging long after every other rhythm had fallen silent. Logic folded another page, reason whispered, leave it there. Yet something deeper wouldn't lower its quiet voice. It keeps saying yes, even when I doubt it. Every silent heartbeat finds another route, with something underneath me, steady as the ground. When my thoughts get louder, it speaks louder now. It keeps saying yes, never losing motion. Every honest feeling crosses every ocean. What refuses fading might already know where I'm really meant to go. I counted reasons, built conclusions, stacked neat explanations like boxes against a wall. Everything looked perfect until one tiny feeling Walk straight through them, no alarms, no fireworks, just the same direction. Showing up again, different places, different faces, different conversations. Same quiet answer, I called it coincidence, then habit, then imagination. None of those names stayed long enough, because every attempt to push it aside only gave it another doorway. Maybe certainty doesn't shout, maybe it repeats itself. Patiently waiting for the moment you finally stop arguing with your own reflection. Maybe the loudest voice isn't the one inside your thoughts. Maybe it's the one that never changes, no matter how many stories you invent around it. It keeps saying yes, clearer every heartbeat. Every hidden answer always seems to reach me. Nothing has permission, nothing needs applause. Truth keeps finding pathways without pause. It keeps saying yes. Now I hear it clearly. Every quiet whisper pulls a little near me. If the same direction finds me every time, maybe that's the rhythm that was always mine. An unfinished mosaic covered the floor of an old artisan studio. Hundreds of tiny tiles rested in quiet disorder. Yet one bright pattern kept catching my eyes. No matter where I tried to look, I stepped away, changed my angle, studied every corner. Still the same design found me again, as if it had already chosen where my attention belonged. Still it finds me every time I wander. Every quiet heartbeat only pulls me stronger. What I try to silence never slipped away. It just waited for me anyway. Still it finds me turning every corner. Every little whisper feels a little warmer. Maybe what remains after every try is the truth I can't deny. I renamed it more than once, a passing spark, a temporary thought, a habit that would disappear if I stayed busy enough. But strange things happened. One familiar phrase in somebody else's conversation, a color across a crowded station, the shape of light through ordinary windows. None of them were connected, yet somehow every one of them opened the very same feeling. Eventually I stopped trying to erase it, because nothing that fragile should have survived so many goodbyes unless it belonged exactly where it was. Still it finds me without any warning, like the first soft glow before the early morning. Every hidden answer knows the road by heart, meeting me before I even start. Still it finds me gentle but unbroken. Every quiet promise never needed spoken continue shining through each changing view might have always been completely true. Maybe real feelings don't become stronger because we chase them. Maybe they become clearer because they never stop walking beside us even while we pretend not to notice. Some things don't ask for attention. They simply stay until we're ready to call them by their real name. Still it finds me brighter than I knew it. Every steady heartbeat finally walks me through it. Nothing built from hiding could make it disappear. It was always waiting right here. Still it finds me. Now I stop resisting. Every honest answer feels like home existing. If one quiet feeling survives every mile, maybe that's the reason I'm finally able to smile. A forgotten glass conservatory, breathe beneath climbing ivy. Tiny drops rolled across the curved ceiling until one of them followed the exact same path as another without ever touching. I watched them fall, different beginnings, one direction. Maybe patterns don't appear just to disappear. It must mean something if it keeps returning. Every quiet heartbeat leaves another burning. Every little picture passing through my mind always points me somewhere hard to hide. It must mean something more than random chances. Every silent feeling moves in quiet dances. If it finds me twice, then again somehow, maybe I should trust it now. Everybody says don't overthink, so I didn't. I let the thought drift away, only to watch it circle back from another direction. Different scenery, different conversations, different streets, same emotion. It's funny, you can organize your schedule, change your habits, fill your weekends, learn new names, collect fresh memories, and somehow one invisible thread still pulls at exactly the same place. Maybe repetition isn't a glitch, maybe it's guidance, wearing ordinary clothes. Maybe the reason nothing dramatic happens is because truth rarely needs a dramatic entrance. It arrives like familiar footsteps, not asking for applause, just asking whether you're finally willing to notice what has been there the whole time. It must mean something. Now I hear it clearly. Every steady heartbeat brings it the same emotion always finds its way. Maybe that's the answer I was meant to face.
Inside an old clockmaker's workshop, half-built music boxes waited on wooden shelves. None of them played the same melody. One released only a handful of notes, then quietly stopped as if inviting someone else to finish the song. Turned every tiny handle, listening for something different, yet the same unfinished tune found its way back, not louder, just more familiar, like it already knew where it belonged. Every new direction looked convincing for still one quiet answer always stood after everything else had faded. I come back again. Every road reminds me, every hidden heartbeat always seems to find me. What survives the questions doesn't need a name. It keeps leading just the same. I come back again. Nothing forced or borrowed. Every little feeling still is here tomorrow. If the ending stays after all I've done, maybe that's the place I'm from. I tried making lists, pros, cons, reasons to leave, reasons to stay. I thought enough thinking would finally settle everything. It didn't, because every conclusion I celebrated eventually folded into the same quiet place. Not because there weren't other options, there were plenty, but every possibility started to feel like a hallway leading back to one familiar door. Maybe that's frustrating, or maybe that's comforting. Maybe the answer doesn't keep returning to trap me. Maybe it returns because it's the only one that still feels true after every argument has already finished. Some choices don't become right because they're easy, they become right. 'Cause even after every doubt, every detour, every second thought, they remain standing quietly, waiting without asking to be believed. I come back again. Now I understand it. Every steady heartbeat never had to plan it. What remains unshaken after every bend might have been the answer from the end. I come back again. Now I won't outrun it. Every quiet whisper tells and still returns to the only answer that feels like home.
Beneath an old lighthouse, there was a room filled with polished lenses, waiting inside wooden drawers, each one bent the light in a different way. Some widen the horizon, some gather distant colors into a single point. I pick them up one after another, searching for the clearest view. Strangely, the smallest lens revealed the path I couldn't notice with my own eyes. Maybe I've been asking the wrong questions, trying to force certainty before learning how to recognize it. Something inside seems calm already, while I'm still looking for proof. Maybe my heart knew long before I found it. Every quiet feeling softly moved around it, while my restless mind built another wall. It was already past them all. Maybe my heart knew before the words could form it. Every little whisper helped me move toward it. If the truth arrived without making sound, maybe that's exactly how it's found. I follow the careful logic of maps drawn by certainty. Every line looked perfect, every direction made complete sense. Still, something gentle kept slowing my steps whenever I wander too far from what felt alive. It never argued, never interrupted. It simply waited, patient enough to be noticed instead of defended. Eventually, I realized not every answer needs permission from doubt before becoming real. Some voices don't compete, they don't rush to be heard. They stay steady, quiet, unmoving, until every distraction passes. Inside a forgotten greenhouse, hundreds of paper pinwheels hung from invisible threads. No wind crossed the room, yet one small wheel turned ever so slightly, as though a breath no one could see had quietly passed through. I checked every window, every doorway. Nothing explained it still. That tiny motion stayed with me long after I walked away. Some questions don't disappear because we ignore them. They wait patiently until we're willing to notice what keeps returning. Still on my mind even when I hide it. Every quiet heartbeat never walks beside it. It keeps finding reasons I can't explain away, like it already knows where I'll stay. Still on my mind, nothing feels mistaken. Every little feeling only grows awakened. If it never leaves, maybe that's the clue. Maybe what remains is true. I tried replacing old thoughts with brand new plans. Filled empty pages, opened different doors. Learned unfamiliar names, collected fresh beginnings. Everything looked different, everything sounded different. But underneath every new chapter there was one gentle sentence waiting without changing. It wasn't asking to be remembered, it simply refused to become someone else's story. That's when I understood not every lasting thought is something to escape. Some are simply trying to bring us home. Maybe truth doesn't arrive as one dramatic moment. Maybe it returns quietly again and again, until resisting it feels heavier than accepting it. Some answers don't become real because we discover them. They become real because they never stop finding us. Still on my mind now, I won't deny it. Every steady heartbeat finally shines beside it. Nothing this enduring could be made untrue. Every step just led me through. Still on my mind now, I understand it. Every silent echo never needed planning. If it stayed through every road I wandered through, then I'm the thought I couldn't lose was always speaking true. On the top shelf of a forgotten perfume library, hundreds of tiny crystal bottles caught the light differently. One familiar scent escaped the moment its glass stopper was barely lifted, not asking to be noticed, yet impossible to overlook. You found me twice when I thought it faded. Every quiet heartbeat left another trace here. I was sure the story had already closed. Then you filled the silence no one knows. You found me twice, nothing needed proving. Every gentle whisper kept my whole world moving. If the same emotion crosses every line, maybe it was waiting all this time. The first goodbye looked convincing. Everything around it said keep walking, so I did. I learned fresh routines, filled ordinary afternoons, smiled without forcing it, built conversations that asked nothing about what came before. It seemed complete until one ordinary moment opened a familiar window inside me. Not because anything repeated exactly. The faces were different, the places had changed. Even my own voice sounded older. But the feeling returned with the same quiet certainty, as though it had never been trying to leave, only waiting for me to recognize it without fear. That was the difference. The first time I questioned it, the next time it felt like recognition. You found me twice, now I hear the meaning. Every hidden heartbeat slowly keeps revealing. Some things don't return just to test your mind. Sometimes they arrive to help you find. You found me twice, soft without a warning, like the gentle color before the early morning. Everything I buried rose without a fight, turning quiet questions into light. You found me twice, now I won't outrun it. Every steady heartbeat tells me not to hide it. What I called coincidence never wore that name. It was always leading just the same. You found me twice, stronger through the distance. Every honest feeling carried quiet persistence. If one silent answer crossed my path anew, maybe it returned because it always knew where my heart would finally believe.
Hidden beneath an old museum, a drawer of forgotten postcards, waited inside a rolling archive cabinet. None were addressed, none were stamped, only sketches, tiny brush marks, pressed leaves, and unfinished sentences rested across faded paper. I reached for one at random, yet somehow it felt familiar before I had even turned it over. Some things recognize us long before we recognize them. I kept believing distance could erase what quietly remained. But every silent step only revealed another small reminder waiting ahead. Some memories stay even when I hide them. Every quiet heartbeat still can walk beside them. They don't ask permission, they don't make a sound. Still they gently lead me further on. Some memories stay like a steady lantern, lighting little corners one after another. If they never leave, maybe they can see somewhere I'm still meant to be. I filled the shelves with brand new stories, different dreams, different conversations, different reasons to keep moving. Everything changed exactly the way I thought it should. Yet certain little moments open familiar doors. The smell of fresh paper, a melody played from far away, hands brushing across worn wooden rails. Nothing dramatic, nothing extraordinary. Still, each ordinary detail pointed toward the same quiet place inside me. Maybe those memories weren't trying to hold me still. Maybe they were leaving gentle markers like stones beside a trail, helping me remember which direction always felt like home. Not every memory exists to pull us backwards. Some remain because they carry a small piece of who we are. Patient enough to wait until we're finally ready to understand why they stayed. Some memories stay. Now I won't deny them. Every steady heartbeat finds a place beside them. What refused to vanish wasn't holding on, it was quietly leading me along. Memories stay. Now I see the reason. Every hidden fragment blooming with new meaning. If they kept returning through the changing view, maybe they were always pointing me towards something true. Some memories stay, not to keep me dreaming, not to leave me stranded, not to stop me leaving. They remain because they've known all along. The heart remembers where it belongs.
At the edge of a forgotten stained glass workshop, panels of colored glass leaned against tall wooden racks. Crimson beside amber, ocean blue beside silver. Each fragment looked incomplete on its own, scattered like pieces, waiting without hurry. Then a narrow beam crossed the room for a single breath. just a ribbon of color across the floor. Bright enough to catch my eyes, quiet enough to leave no explanation. I looked away, the light remained. Some reflections don't ask to be understood, they simply return a little clearer each time they find us again. The same thought shines brighter every moment. Every quiet heartbeat leaves another token. What I tried ignoring never lost its glow. It just waited till I'd know. The same thought shines, growing without hurry. Every hidden answer softly calms the worry. If it keeps returning through the changing light, maybe it has always seen me right. I searched for louder signs, something obvious, something impossible to misunderstand. Instead, the answer arrived quietly, a familiar sentence appearing in different books, an unexpected smile that carried the same feeling, a simple decision that somehow always leaned toward one direction. Nothing dramatic, nothing impossible, just small moments gathering together like drops of rain, finding the same river. At first they looked unrelated, then the pattern began to glow from within, as though certainty had never needed to rush, only to repeat until I noticed. Maybe conviction isn't born in one perfect moment. Maybe it grows each time the same quiet thought returns without demanding to be believed. Not louder, not faster, only clearer, until doubt has nowhere left to hide. The same thought shines now, I won't escape it. Every steady heartbeat finally embraces it. What refused to fade was never standing still. It was gently climbing every hill. The same thought shines clearer than the skyline. Every honest whisper finds this heart of mine. If one quiet answer brightens every view, then I'll follow where it leads.